Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Patrice Jenkins and I'm a 3rd and 4th grade teacher in Illinois. Today I have a special video for you. Since I've been on summer vacation, I've been wrecking my mind trying to figure out how I can prepare for next school year. We don't know what this whole pandemic is going to look like for teachers who are trying to get back in the classroom and prepare. But one thing I do know is I'm gonna have a first day of school and I'm gonna have a first week of school. So one of the things that I like to do before I go back to school is organize all of the things that I want my students to do in the first week. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen my teacher binder, my teacher crate, which holds all of the things that I want to teach my students in the first week of school. To upload for free on her blog last summer. So all I did was download it, laminate it, and put it at the top of my binder as well as the front. And then on the inside, it has a to-do and to prep and to copy list. And basically what I did was put this in a sheet protector and make copies for years to come. So super handy, super nifty, but I want to talk to you about what I put inside of my teacher bin. So basically the first thing that you want to do is think about lesson planning. I know lesson planning isn't always fun, but it's so necessary when you're thinking about what activities you want to incorporate as well as demonstrate for your students. I teach 3rd and 4th grade, so the benefit of that is the fact that last year's 3rd grade students are now my 4th grade students coming in, and they can help me organize and demonstrate things for my new students who are coming into 3rd. So one of the things that I posted on my Instagram account as well as my blog was first week lesson plans. And basically all of the documents that I would have for first week lesson plans would be inside of a folder that I keep inside of this bin to keep it organized. The reason why I do that is because once you're getting ready for first week back, it is so difficult to keep everything organized and planned. Different types of people like different types of formats. For me, I like a categorized Monday through Friday layout for the day because most of the time when I'm interacting with my students, I'm going to be in and out, trying my best to help them understand what types of procedures I want them to remember. So here's a layout of the first week of school read aloud activity guide that's in my Teacher Pay Teacher store. But as you can see, it's Monday through Friday. And what you would do is look at the first week suggestions. I have games there, paper bag challenge, teacher's quiz, beach ball intro, find someone who, spaghetti tower, class discussions, and then of course the read alouds. Then the challenges you want to spread throughout the week so that the students have something interesting to do. If you're like me and you have to turn in your lesson plans to your principal, your district, you want to make sure that you have a plan for them as well. So I also keep this inside of my folder. The next thing I do is I think about the letter or the greeting that I want to give my students when they come into the classroom. I'm going to put that on their desk. And I always have a letter. This is a template that I bought off of TPT. You can make your own, it's up to you. But there's plenty of resources out there where you can find different greetings to place on your students' desks so that they feel welcome when they come in. The other thing that I keep in my back to school folder are procedures to teach. Everybody's done this, I'm sure, where you have procedures that you play games with your students so that they remember exactly what you want them to know. The other thing that I like to do is make sure things are paper clipped together. And then if you want to add tabs to it or sticky notes that number them 1, 2, 3, 4 as the day goes on, that makes it so much easier. I don't know about you, when I'm in the midst of doing things with my students, I can get scatterbrained because I'm here, I'm there, I'm looking around, trying to figure out what my students need. I'm talking to parents, I'm talking to admin. All of this is happening at one time. So if you're organized, this day will be a cinch, your first day back. One thing that I like to kind of sit back and reflect on is, how are my students feeling? Like I said, this is a pandemic and we don't know what it's gonna look like in the fall. But we need to take time to assess the students, which means doing a lot of SEL projects, channeling their emotions, asking them how they feel, asking them what they would like to do, and how they can be a participant in your classroom. The other thing that you need to think about is whether or not students are coming in understanding your seating options. Flexible seating options are things that we may not be able to do, but if we are, it's still something that I have prepped and ready, as well as a teacher's quiz, trying to identify what my students think they know about me from previous students or what they may have heard from just a letter that I have sent home over the summer. It all depends. The last thing that I like to keep in here is an activity that I think is so adorable. I wish my teacher knew. And I do have the text to go along with this, but I like to do this on the first day of school so that that expectation of what my student wants me to know about them, I'm hitting it right on the head with that. So as I said, all of these activities are part of the lesson planning. The lesson planning is a big deal for me because I need to make sure that I'm organized. Otherwise, I'll be up at night thinking about it. So that's the first thing that I do. The second thing, I prep which books I want to read on the first day of school. I prep what books I want to read from the next day of school all the way to Friday. Now, typically the first day of school is a short day. We might get out at noon, but these types of books are specifically important considering the climate and culture of our school at this time, our schools around the world. So basically, this is one of my favorite books, The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson. It's a book that I incorporated last school year, but definitely will be incorporating it again. So here's an inside look of my teacher crate. All of my read alouds are organized, and what I'm pulling now are my lesson plans for the first week of school. I have them categorized because I teach 2 grade levels, 3rd and 4th grade. There's my first week of school read aloud and activity guide. You can pick it up in my TPT store if you're interested. And then I have my pacing guides that I created for my 3rd and 4th grade classes as well. And then games and activities that I would do, like 3rd grade, those are task cards. Those are really great. My hopes and dreams activity, which would go with May Amongst the Stars. The kids fill this out, talking about their goals and their aspirations for the year. And this is an activity I love to do, lesson plan, reader's guide for the spaghetti book. There is my BU story guide, which is also in my TPT store. And I read the BU book to them, and then they have an activity guide to do together in the class. And then this one I mentioned earlier, I wish my teacher knew. I read the book, and then we go through the prompts, and then that gives the students a chance to connect with me personally. And then I always do a teacher's quiz after I do I wish my teacher knew as well. So that is the folder that I use for my lesson plans. I have it categorized by more than one folder. Each folder that I pull out of this bin keeps me organized, so I know exactly what I want to cover throughout the week, which is really helpful keeping yourself focused for the week. And then my next folder, this is what I would give to the students, specific activities. This is a love language quiz, and then we put those up on the wall, and each child gets to identify what their love language is. I have different activities in here like classroom scavenger hunt and backpack choices. What type of jobs are you going to have? Back to school activities, tons of those. And then more Scoot ideas. And then mystery bag is fun too. It's their first homework assignment. So once again, the first folder was first week lesson plans. This next folder was first week activities. And then the next one is important parent handouts. This is what I would hand to the parents. They would get a curriculum guide. I would give them an updated copy of August News, a 3rd grade parent packet, as well as 4th grade. So that's the first thing that I do. The second thing, I prep which books I want to read on the first day of school. I prep what books I want to read from the next day of school all the way to Friday. Now, typically the first day of school is a short day. We might get out at noon, but these types of books are specifically important considering the climate and culture of our school at this time, our schools around the world. So basically, this is one of my favorite books, The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson. It's a book that I incorporated last school year, but definitely will be incorporating it again. Another favorite of mine is Pig the Winner, letting the students understand that we do make mistakes, but most importantly, we are winners in our own right. And students need to understand that when we make mistakes, specifically during the first week of school, if we don't understand procedures or rules or anything that we're teaching them, the students still understand that it's okay. So this is a great series if you haven't checked it out. It's by Erin Blaby, but Pig the Winner is one of my faves. Now, another thing that I wanted to do on the first week of school, specifically the first week, is to incorporate a read aloud and then an activity. Then we take maybe a little break to discuss, and I would have slides on my projector to kind of reinforce what I want the students to know, and I ask them questions about what it is that we just learned. Once I do that and I have that time for the students to share, then I would incorporate another book. And this is usually the last book that I do on my first day. We're All Wonders by R.J. Palazzo, #1 New York seller. It was a movie, of course, but I love this book so much because students, again, can identify with what makes them different as well as what makes them unique. So specifically thinking about what your students' needs are and what you want to incorporate on that first day is very, very important, because when you actually take the time to figure out what the student is needing, then you know how to plan for the rest of the week. Am I a teacher that likes to plan for the whole week? Yes, absolutely. But in today's pandemic, is it always necessary to overplan at this point? No, it isn't. We don't know what we're going to run into, so we have to be conscious and aware of what we're actually doing in that classroom. Another thing that I have in my teacher bin are these booklets from Target. I'm going to be picking up some more. This is from last year. I had some left over. They come in a pack of 8. They're just blank books, and each book has a sheet that's blank, and there's 8 sheets in here. So I use these for back to school activities. What is your favorite color? What do you want your teacher and classmates to know about you? So this is a fave of mine, something that I continuously do every school year. Outside of activities that I like to do with my students, I also like to keep in mind that activities are going to be important for parents coming in. If I'm teaching 2 grade levels, it's very important for parents to feel safe and secure with their child upgrading or going to the next grade. There might be concerns with 2 grade levels coming together, but hopefully by doing activities where you allow your parents to know who you are and what you are to their children will also give them peace of mind. So what I do is I keep a folder of documents for parents. The back to school fill out questionnaires, you can utilize Class Dojo, you can utilize Seesaw, Google Classroom, of course. All of these types of things are important. But what I think is, if students are interacting, why don't parents interact? So I have an open house scavenger hunt. You can buy these types of resources off of TPT as well. You can make your own. Maybe you don't have something like this on paper. Maybe you have a system on text. I don't know, sticky notes. That's okay. Whatever you use, parents need to be engaged, parents need to be involved. So that's the thing that I like to do. I have a whole folder dedicated to that. But this is also something that I'm super proud of, labeling everything that you need for the first week. I know it's tedious, especially if you have more than 20 kids like I do, but it's so worth it in the end. Creating a template that you can print on Avery labels or any other type of label that you have and easily stick it on items that you need, lifesaver. Okay, specifically for students who pop in after you've already prepared for the number count that you think you should have. It's very, very important to make sure that you have extra stuff set aside for any of those students who were not on your registry list. Another thing that's important is a bag that I keep in here to remind me that I need to make new ones. Hello, my name is, their name goes on there. You can decorate it however you want. You can use the blank side and not have their name on it and have maybe their name tag with the name on it, but that's what I do. I have this, I stick little goodies in there, a pencil, a bookmark, as well as information that they might need on a little card about me. One of the things that I also like to do on the first week of school is make sure that I have copies already made of things that I want my students to do, like helpers. My students learn their class jobs very quickly, and the reason why is because my classroom is not my classroom. It is our classroom. There is no I in we. We own the space. We take care of the space. So as you can see, I have it paper clipped with enough copies for each child. And then what I like to do is make sure that when I give this to the student, they also know where to turn it in. So that's very important as well. One of the last things that I like to do is I like to go through and make sure that I at least have a read aloud. Our first read aloud for me is Goody Bird Green. Sometimes I don't get through the whole book depending on what the class is like or other things we have on the agenda, but I do incorporate my first chapter book into my 3rd and 4th grade curriculum with my students. So if you're wondering what this bin looks like, it's super filled and super heavy, but you can see that I put my title on the front too, so it's easy to find, as well as eye-catching, so that it doesn't just go in my closet and then I forget about it. As the week goes on, some of my other favorite read-alouds are May Among the Stars, Believing in Yourself, Thinking About Your Hopes and Dreams. Showing each other kindness, being kind is very important, not only to each other, but the students should be learning how to be kind to you and other people on the staff that they are going to be looking at or working with, like the administration. So that's an important book. One of the books that I really like as well is Why Am I Me? Identifying who they are, again, is very, very big in my eyes, making sure students feel valued and loved. This year I'll be incorporating a new book that was sent to me, Dear Black Boy, and it is a book that is talking about what it means to be African American. This is very important in today's culture and time period. So that's something new that I'm adding into my collection. So there's a snippet of exactly what I like to do on the first week of school. As I said, it doesn't have to be planned out to the T. There are things that I'm going to have to do to change and switch things up. But let me know in the comments section if you like this video, if this video added value to your teaching experience, if you're a teacher or administrator, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. And please, most importantly, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and like this video so that I can keep producing more content that is beneficial to you. I am sending positive vibes, I'm sending love your way, and I hope that you're enjoying your summer.